I've been in business for about 14 years. And over the last 14 years, I've made tens of millions of dollars. I've built several multi-8-figure businesses. In this video, I want to break down the lessons I've learned over a 14-year career in business. All right, the ups, the downs. Hopefully you guys can learn some things that you can apply your current business or any business you will start, and you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls, so you don't have to learn these things, some of these things the hard way, the way I did, because experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. All right, you can learn from other people's experience, and that'll make the path easier and you can hit your destination faster. And some of these lessons are going to be straight business lessons, but some of these are going to be more personal development lessons. As you ascend up the ladder of success, you're going to have to become a better person, not just as a business person, but a lot of business problems that people have are really just personal problems that manifest themselves in their business, but also tactical personal development stuff that will help you ascend to greatness. If you don't learn these lessons, you will learn them, but you'll have to learn them the most difficult way through your own experience. I don't want you to have to do that. Lesson number 1, consistency is key. Progress is made through consistency over time. A big problem I see with would-be entrepreneurs is they want to make things happen fast, right? They're always looking for some shortcut, or they're trying to rush things. You want to think of your business growth the same way you would think of growth of a child. Is there some kids in your family and maybe you only see them at family reunions or something? You see them maybe once a year, every once in a while, and he's like, whoa, you've grown so much. But their parents might not have noticed it. They made little improvements every day. Nature handled that, so it was easy, right? The amount you improve from day to day oftentimes is negligible, and it looks as if you're not really making progress at all. But if you take a longer review, what you'll notice is you made a ton of progress if you've been consistent every day. If you've ever made a fitness transformation, right? Put on some muscle and or lost fat, it happened gradually. Like you work out today, you don't see any results today. You might not even see no results tomorrow, right? But over a significant amount of time, you start to look like a different person. But it happens very incrementally every day. So here's a problem I see a lot of people, why they struggle with being consistent, is because they're focused on their big goal, right? Let's say this is a goal. This is going to be a visual representation of a goal. All right, this is what you want. You want to accomplish this goal. You at this mountaintop is a visual representation of you accomplishing this goal, right? Saying F you to the haters, you got mad money. But you may look at that from your beginning stage, and that might make you kind of like sad. You're like, oh man, I'll never get there. Or you'll see other people there and you might be, oh man, you get discouraged. That's what happens to you when you look at the goal from the bottom, right? All you need to do is focus on what's in front of you. For example, for a weight loss goal, let's say I want to lose 10 pounds of fat and I got 10 weeks to do it. Easy game. Every pound of fat you want to lose, you have to burn 3,500 calories. So if I'm in a 500 calorie deficit every day, right, for a week, 500 times 7 is 3,500 calories. So I'll burn a pound a week if I'm in a 500 calorie deficit each day. So all I got to do is focus on today. If today is a victory, I just focus on today, right? Boom. Then I do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. And then if I start stringing together perfect days, if I do that 7 days in a row, oh man, it's a perfect week. If I start stringing together perfect weeks, then it's a perfect month. If I start stringing together perfect months, then it's a perfect year. And if I have a perfect year, then you're me. You know what I'm saying? Don't focus on the big goal. A lot of people tell you to focus on the big goal. I think that could be a mistake because it can be discouraging because you're not making progress every day. But if you just focus on today, you're making progress every day. You get what I'm saying? So what you have to do is break your goal down into the daily habits that you have to abide by each day, and then just string together perfect day. Number 2, track the inputs, right? If you track the inputs, you don't have to worry about the output. So for me, a perfect day, I know what my goals, I break those down into what has to happen every day. And then I just track it. I'll put a link in the description where you can download this template. Let's just focus on the diet stuff, right? Boom. Did I track my macros every day? Yes. You see it's a total 100%. How much protein did I get every day in grams on average? 220 grams. Perfect, right? How many calories did I consume? Under 3,000 each day. Perfect. How many calories did I burn? Boom. 3,000. I tracked it with my Oura Ring, right? And what's my caloric deficit total? Man, so I was cutting that month. So you can look at the inputs each day. I'd lose fat. I'd get more ripped, right? If I'm burning more calories I consume every day, you would know with certainty that would happen, right? So the beauty of it, when I'm looking at the inputs each day, I just make sure have a perfect day, then I know it gives me confidence to know I will accomplish my goal. And then I track other inputs like, I'm, growing social media. So, okay, if we posted YouTube, posted IG, posted how much we did it, and I can see where I'm fucking up, where I can improve. It wasn't me, the person who posted on my Instagram. He wasn't posting every day. He got fired. I knew he was going to get fired. So I told him, hey, listen, you're going to get fired pretty soon. The person who does the TikTok, you think he's still working for me? That's right, he is. The person who does the YouTube, you think he's still working for me? Yeah, probably edited this video. Right? Boom. Practice guitar. I got a little bit better at practice. These are some other things. Practice Spanish. Oh, I only practice Spanish. Yo hablo un poquito Espanol. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, all you got to do is track the inputs. But this is why tracking is so important, because you won't have to guess if you're going to accomplish your goals. You'll know if you're on the right path or not, because you'll be able to see it every day, right? And not only do you do this in your personal life, but you do this with your business, of course, right? You got to track the KPIs, the goals, and you got to go over the stuff you track with your team on a regular basis to make sure everybody's on the same page, right? Tracking is one of the most important things. If you want to download that habit tracker, we're going to put the link in the description. It's a template. The next key to accomplishing your goals, this is more of a personal development one. We'll get into some hardcore business stuff as this video progresses. Sacrifice is the next lesson, right? You're going to either sacrifice momentary pleasure or you're going to sacrifice your goal. You got to make decisions. There's no wrong decision. You got to know you're making a decision and make it. So, for example, when I was first trying to make my first million, making your first million is going to take almost everything, if that's what your goal is. And I had to sacrifice a lot. I didn't watch any TV, didn't watch any football or basketball. And I'm black, right? You know how difficult it was for me not to watch basketball, right? But I didn't do it, and because I just knew if I wasn't willing to sacrifice for my goals would become the sacrifice. As if not watching these shows are going to make you rich. It's no, because of what I was doing instead of that. You get what I'm saying? I was working on a business when everyone else was watching TV and fucking around. But now here's the thing. When I go to basketball games now, I either sit courtside with the homies, or one of my boys, he has a skybox. So we go in and we hang out there. It's a different experience. It's better now. Like the more you can delay gratification, the better it will be. I quit smoking marijuana. I never went back to smoking marijuana, but I quit smoking marijuana when I was trying to focus, just because I knew I wasn't at my best when I was getting high. Now, if I wanted to smoke weed, I could get the best. I don't want it now, but I'm just saying it can be better now. Right now, you guys are running around getting distracted by like girls who are like 5s and 6. But it will actually come up, work on building your muscle, money, mindset. You put that aside for right now, you can probably get a better girl. You probably get a hotter girl, a girl you like better, and you won't have to have a bunch of riz if you are like the man, and it'll be easier, right? The more you can sacrifice now, you can still enjoy those things later on if you can delay gratification, but you can get a better version of them later. First million is probably going to take everything. Like if you want to make, $10K a month or, low 6 figures, I don't want to say that it's easy, but it won't take everything, right? You can probably mess around a little bit and party, and you can probably still indulge in some vices and make that much, right? But if you want to make over $1 million a year in your business, 80% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, right? And less than 5% of businesses make it to the point where they're making over $1 million a year, right? So think about how difficult this undertaking. It might take everything. I remember when I saw Avengers Infinity War, and at the end, Thanos is talking to his daughter that he killed in like the dream world or some shit. And she was like, yo, did you do it? He was like, yeah. And she said, what it cost you? He said, everything. And I was like, I felt that, because the bigger the goal, the more you're going to have to sacrifice. And again, if you're not willing to sacrifice the goal, that's cool. You just need to make peace with that and know that your goal will become the sacrifice, right? So it really might take everything, right? You got to think about what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not, It gets a little easier to go from 1 million to 2 than it is from 0 to 1 million. Right? Money gives you leverage where you could actually make stuff happen, but it might take a lot of sacrifice. That's why it's more difficult to get rich when you're older, because you got more responsibilities and less things that you'd be willing to sacrifice, like time with kids or your relationship or, whatever else you got going on. Like you get more responsibilities as you age, right? So if you're going to do it, that's why you don't want to waste your 20s. That's why I tell guys to work so hard in their 20s so they don't have to sacrifice kids, so they can get successful before they have the fucking kids and shit, because it's going to be more difficult as you get older, right? And you just got to be willing, some people need to realize that maybe millionaire or multimillionaire is not for them, not because they can't do it, just because they're not willing to put put in that sacrifice. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay as long as you make peace with it, right? I'm not telling you it's right or wrong. And maybe making, six figures or high six figures, somewhere in that range is cool. You got to design your own path, but you should know what you get into. If you want to make $1 million a year, that first million might take everything. Anyone tells you it's easy, lying. Here's the next lesson. The fact that you want it to be easy is what makes it more difficult. Because I see a lot of people looking for the easy way to accomplish their goal. I see a lot of people venting about how arduous the task is or how stressful it is for them to accomplish their goals. But now they have to deal with the difficulty of the goal, and they have to deal with this mental pain, unfulfilled expectations, right? Because they expected it to be easy, or they desired it to be easy. However, right, if you can reframe your brain and think, I'm glad it's difficult, because the fact that it's difficult is one of the reasons why it's worth having. My willingness to accept this difficulty and work through it and work through the pain is what separates me from all the people who will fail and give up, right? If you just keep that in mind, right? It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be difficult. And if it ends up being easy, then that's like, oh, cool, man. That's great. Let it be a surprise, not an expectation, if you find something easy or difficult, because you don't want to have to deal with two pains. Right? It's already difficult, but now you also have to deal with that your expectations not being met, or your preferences not being met. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you could just reframe your brain to be excited when something gets difficult. When something gets difficult, I kind of get excited. I'll be like, okay, this is where most people will quit, and this is why I'm going to beat them. This is why I will succeed and they won't. I think about that all the time, and if you can start adopting that attitude over time, it starts to excite you. Like I'm kind of fucked up. Because now every once in a while somebody sees me, they'll see me like weighing my food at a restaurant. I bring a scale with me and weigh my food at restaurants. I know it's extreme success. If you want extreme results, you got to take extreme actions, right? And people say, man, I can never do that, man. That's too much discipline. I can never do that. And that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, fucking right. I don't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's not for everybody. I say something nice, but I'm really thinking, that's right. I'm fucking tougher than you. You need to understand that, man. I'm way better than you. Maybe not better than you, but definitely tougher. Because you think punching numbers in an app on your phone is difficult. I'm gonna do that shit no matter what. Or it's like, working 10, 12 hours a day, every day. You're like, man, I can never do that, man. It's too difficult. I'm like, fucking right, you can't. You'll never be the big dog. I don't say those things. I just think it, and I'll be like, oh man, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do, hey man, different strokes, different folks, man, whatever makes you happy, brother. But that's what I say, but I'm thinking, you start to enjoy it once you reframe it. Like, this is why you're gonna succeed. Here's another key. Confidence comes from competence. I see a lot of people, especially young kids, sometimes they come in with a lot of confidence or they feel like they is. Sometimes you can tell when it's fake or it's not, right? With a fake confidence, a bravado. And I'm like, man, how do you know you're going to succeed? Man, I just want it real bad. I was like, ooh, all right, cool. But, confidence has to come from competence, homie. You got to be good at something. It's like, I can't just say, man, I'm the man, and then like do my own plumbing. I'm not a Mario brother. So it would be, for me to think that I was good at, to just be confident about my ability to plumb, that would be delusional. You got to have competence. Competence has to come from competence. Now, some people, they misconstrue that and they say, man, you should just be confident. You should just be confident in yourself. And I think they confuse confidence with self-love, right? Like, love and confidence are different things. Right? Like, for example, I love my son, right? But I don't have confidence in him cooking his own dinner, man. He's 7. Making it to school by himself without my help, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, confidence and competence are two different things. I love him just fine. I love him more than anything, but I don't have confidence in his ability to do much of anything. He's a kid, right? Nor should he. Or same thing as my, I remember my grandma, she passed away when she was 96. We all loved her, but man, we couldn't leave that lady alone by herself at all, man. She couldn't eat shit by herself towards the end, like we didn't have no confidence in her, but like we loved her, right? They're just two different things. Confidence has to come from competence. And listen, when you start doing things every day that actually move you in the direction of the man you want to be, you give yourself a reason to like yourself. Like inner self-confidence too, right? Not even just confidence in a specific task, but like overall self-confidence will come from keeping the promises you make to yourself, doing things that make you proud of yourself. right? And it also helps you deal with criticism when you do that. Because people ask me, how do I deal with criticism? That's the next lesson. You're going to have to deal with criticism as you succeed. Nobody gets unanimous praise, right? They killed Jesus, Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln. Those guys were better than me. You know, I'll probably never do anything as cool as them, especially Jesus. He was the man, right? So they can't get unanimous. If the haters got them, of course they're going to come after me too. I just think about that. That's one way to deal with criticism. But also, here's the key to dealing with criticism. I got people making YouTube videos about me every once in a while. And I know it's probably good for them. It probably helps them with their algorithm. They probably get a lot out of it, right? And it's cool. But, you know, I just kind of laughed it off, man, because I'm so good at what I do. And I like myself so much that the criticism sounds kind of absurd. It'd be like if you said, Brandy, you look like a Chinese lady. And I would just kind of like laugh at you, man. I'd be like, oh man, something must be wrong with you, you know? Nothing wrong with being a Chinese lady, I'm just saying. The only way to like yourself that much is to give yourself a reason to like yourself that much. You can't just do it. All the people just love yourself, just like yourself. No. You have to give yourself reasons all the time to like yourself. Everything you do is you casting a vote on the kind of person you are. Even if no one else knows, you know the shit you do behind closed doors. You know if you are following your diet. You know what time you wake up. You know, even if no one else knows, you know. And a lot of people walk around with like this shame and insecurity. They're bullshitting. They're doing all types of shit behind closed doors or by themselves that they're not proud of. And they know they're not proud of. They're casting votes of doubt within themselves every time they take these actions. But every time you do that, things that you're proud of, you move in the other direction, right? And once you stop doing the things that you're not proud of and do more of the things that you are proud of, over time, criticism just sounds ridiculous to you because you know what kind of guy you are inside. If somebody called me lazy, it would be like ridiculous because I know what my day is like. I know what time I wake up. You know, I know how early it is I woke up. I know. I don't even have to say nothing. I just like, all right, man. you got to build up this evidence that only you know. Even if you don't tell nobody, you know. You can't bullshit yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like you can, I don't care how many times you look yourself in the mirror and say you an astronaut. If you don't put on a spacesuit, climb in a rocket and leave Earth's atmosphere, it's bullshit, right? So if you say you're the man and you aren't doing shit to prove to yourself that you're the man, it's bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. You can't bull yourself. You don't have to prove it to someone else, but you have to prove it to yourself because we can all tell how you really feel about yourself. You have an energy about you. You have an aura. And we can feel the bitch in you. Do you ever be around somebody you feel like, man, you could accomplish anything with this motherfucker? Like this motherfucker's the man. You feel like he don't even have to say nothing? That's because he's proud of himself. He's doing things on a daily basis to make him proud of himself. And he's not doing as much fuck shit as you, right? And when you're doing that fuck shit, what he's doing, you're fucking chipping away at your confidence. You're making yourself believe in yourself less. And you like yourself less. And then so you overcompensate with a bunch of fucking, boy, hey, I'm the man. And you got to fucking escapism. You need to get drunk and high some more because you can't sit with yourself because you don't like yourself. So you gotta get all this external validation. But once you really like yourself, you can just sit by yourself and be like, I'm that nigga. And you have proof. You don't have to just say like, damn, I really am that nigga. Look at this shit. Even if you don't accomplish your goals yet, just the fact that you're moving, when you start stringing together these perfect days like I showed you, like imagine if you had a list of things you're going to do every day and you looked at your habit tracker and you saw a fucking string of fucking perfect days for a month. How do you think you'd feel about yourself versus how you feel about yourself now when you know you are fucking around, not accomplishing it, not going after it? Yeah, you wouldn't have to say no motherfucking affirmations. You know what's up. The next lesson is your calendar is the key to success. So I just want to show you what it's like to really be serious about accomplishing. So check this out, man. Every hour of every day is accounted for, right? And it's like that every day. That's what it looks like to really be successful, right? So what's going to happen is you'll get more time each day. We all get the same amount of time, but you'll use it more effectively. So you'll get more out of that time, right? There's 168 hours in every week. There's 4 things a man has to do. You have to sleep, you have to work, you have to work out, and spend time with your family. The only 4 things a man has to do. Everything else is optional. I know some people are like, man, what about doing dishes? What about going to the bathroom? Listen, I'm talking about the big things, all right? I know you still got to poop, right? Everybody poops. I read my son a book about it. Like if you're in a bathroom for like 30, 40 hours a week, then you got problems that are beyond the scope of anything. If you really write down how many hours a week are you spending sleeping? If you sleep 8 hours a night, then you're sleeping 56 hours a week. Most of you guys work 40 hours a week, right? If you work out an hour a day, it's 7 hours. I don't know how much time you need to spend with your family. That's you. That's a personal thing, but spend as much as you want. And what you need to do and subtract that from 168. That's how much time you have left to go after your goals. What are you doing with that time? That's the time where you accomplish and you get ahead of other people. And most of the time, guys aren't using it more effectively because you're not planning out each and every day. So if you look at my days, each day is choreographed. I know exactly what I'm doing every day. I got, I know you need to shower. I put it in the thing. I know you need to eat. My meals are in here, right? I know when I'm gonna do everything, right? Everything is in the calendar. I know when I'm gonna work out. I know when I'm gonna do all types of stuff. Everything is choreographed, right? So I'm not guessing. The plan gets moved around. I have to move stuff around throughout the day in the school, but I get way more done each day than most people do. You're not gonna get to the mountaintop today. It's going day by day. Right, but the more you can get done each day, the faster you could actually climb that mountain. And the only way you do that is by using your calendar. You just follow the plan. Now I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I got a game plan. I know when I'm gonna wake up. Boom. I know what I'm gonna do soon. I'm gonna wake up. I got a whole game plan. I just follow the game plan. I don't have to think. I just execute because I planned ahead of time, and I get way more done each day. Done. Now it doesn't go according to plan perfectly, but I move things around as things change. That's okay. I can move stuff around. This is not set in stone. There's only a few things I set in stone. The stuff that's in red. Right? But everything else I can move around if I need to. And here's the thing. Everybody I know who's really rich behaves like that. My boy Jeremy, he's super rich, man. He makes like close to $1 million a month. Yo, I hit him up. I was like, yo, let's go with the girls to dinner, right? His girlfriend, my girlfriend. And he was like, what time? I was like, cool. I was like, what place? He said, let's go to Mastro's. Boom. I get a Google Calendar invite immediately, right? This is normal at the high level. It sounds crazy to you because you only kick it with broke people, but all the multimillionaires I know do this, except for like the pro athletes and entertainers. Like they don't do this, right? They're not making money in business. They're making money off entertainment, right? So it's a different game they're playing. We're not playing that game. Now, unless you are Ronaldo watching this, you probably only do this. But I know LeBron James, his calendar is like that. I heard other people talking about it. It's serious like that. That's how you get more done each day. The calendar is a cheat code. I have a whole video on how to use your calendar. You should check that out. Here's another key. Volume solves almost all problems. Or in fitness and life, everything. Calves have been one of my weak points traditionally. So what I started doing, I bought a calf machine for the crib. I had one in New York, and I started doing 8 sets of calves per day. My calves got bigger. Now people say, oh man, your calves got way bigger. Thank you. Right? Volume solves almost all problems, bro. You need to make more money. Hey man, do more sales, do more outreach, get more leads, right? Do like way more volume. Like few things happen with volume. When you turn up the volume, you take more action, and then that action, and then you get better at it. So you improve your skills, right? And then once you improve those skills more, now you get better result because you're better, right? And that gives you more confidence. And if you have more confidence, it might be easier to take more action. But you need to take that action. You got to take that action first. And the more you improve it, it starts to look like this. So you take that action, boom, take some action. You improve your skills, right? Now your skills get bigger, right? So your results get bigger, boom. So your confidence grows, right? Now you can take a bigger action, more action than you take more because you have more confidence. That action, you're going to get your skill set is going to get bigger faster, boom. The results are going to be bigger, boom. To give you more confidence, you take a bigger action. This is what I call the victory cyclone, right? We're all going through this. Everything you do, you're getting better at it or worse. And the thing is, the easiest way to get better at something is to do it more. When you take more action, you get better at the thing, so your results improve. But also, if it was the action that improves your business or helps you, get you closer to your goal, even if you didn't get better at it, just doing more of it will get you closer to your goal, right? Because the action gets you closer to your goal. If you were a salesperson, let's say you were half as good as everyone on the sales team, like your close rate was 25 and the best closer was 50, right? So he's twice as good as you. But if you took twice as many calls with him, you could make the same amount of money. If you took 3 times as many calls as him with a worse close rate, you'd still make more money than the person with a better close rate. But it wouldn't stay the same. What would happen is not only would you make more money if everything stayed the same, you'd get better because of the victory cycle. Like volume solves almost all problems. Seriously, almost all problems. You got a relationship problem, you need to do more of the stuff that your spouse likes. You having problems in school? Hey man, just study more, dummy. Right? You want to get better at something? Do it more. But the thing is, you want to take it to an extreme, man. Go super hard. And the only way to do that is to put it in your calendar, right? Because most of you motherfuckers are trying to get around this shit, but you're not going to get around this shit. You're not going to find time. You got to make the time. Time is going to hide from you, man. You got to go. You got to grab it, put it in your calendar. That's what I'm talking about, right? Which brings me to the next point. You can actually get good at anything with enough effort and enough time. You can get good at something as fast as you want to get good at it. So I'm going to bring something up. All right, so this is something I call the skill acquisition matrix. This is how you can get good at anything fast. A lot of you guys have heard that 10,000 hours makes you one of the best in the world. This was made popular by Malcolm Gladwell in his book, Outliers. The people who are world-class, some they usually got 10,000 hours of practice. But I think there's levels to this. You don't need to have 10,000 hours at everything because you don't need to be world-class at everything. From my experience in skill acquisition, being a coach for a long time and just getting good at a lot of different things, 100 hours makes you not bad. You're not great, but you're not bad. For example, when I first started playing guitar, around 90 days, I was like not bad. I wasn't good, right? But not bad. Like motherfuckers ain't laughing at me. After 90 days of practicing an hour a day, 1,000 hours, now that's when you get good. When you get 1,000 hours of training something, okay, this motherfucker's good. 20,000 hours makes you really good. That's when you're impressive. People are like, oh shit, this motherfucker's the man. 5,000 hours makes you amazing. 10,000 hours, obviously one of the best. Now, 20,000 hours, I think this makes you one of the best ever. These are like world champions. These are people who win Olympic medals and shit. Most of us will never be that good at anything. How fast do you want to get good at something? Remember, volume solves almost all problems. So just check it out. An hour a day, you can get not bad in 3 months, right? I mean, you can get not bad at anything in 3 months, right? 2 hours a day, that'll get you not bad in like under 2 months. 3 hours a day, this is where the magic starts to happen. You can get not bad at anything in 1 month. And 25 days if you do 4 hours a day. Let's say you want to get good at something. Like, here's what it's going to take. 1 hour a day is going to take you, just under 3 years. 2 hours a day is going to take you a little bit over 1 year. 3 hours a day, you can get good at something in 1 year. 4 hours a day, you can get good at 8 months. That's where it starts to get magical, when you start putting in a lot of hours. Let's say you want to be really good. Boom. I'm not going to go through this whole shit where you can pause this, take a screenshot or something, right? But this is what it takes. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may look at this and get discouraged, especially you young people. Young people have a skewed perception of time. If you're 20 years old, a year sounds like a long amount of time. It makes sense because that's 5% of the time you've been alive. You know what I'm saying? So if you can start thinking in decades, you can get good at anything in 10 years. You can get really good at shit. You can accomplish a lot, man. Don't get discouraged. First of all, just know it takes time, but also it should be encouraging. So what I do is anytime I'm trying to acquire a new skill, you might have saw practice on my calendar, right? Because there's some things I'm working on getting better at, but it's mapped out. I know when I'll get good at it. If I find myself getting frustrated, like, man, I'm not good at that, I just track how many hours I spend doing it. Like, oh, I'm not supposed to be good yet. I don't have enough hours. And that actually makes me feel better. Some of you motherfuckers will try something once and be like, man, I'm not good at that, and then quit. You're not supposed to be good at it, asshole. Nobody's just good at nothing. Like, even people who say are naturally good singers, I never met nobody like that. Everybody know who's good at singing, like really good at singing. They grew up in the church. They had a bunch of practice. They sang with their families. They had like practice, even though it was non-formal. They've got like hundreds or if not thousands of hours. You have to put in the time to get good at something. But the beauty of it is you can get good at anything within reason if you put it in the hours. And this should be encouraging. When you saw my tracking sheet, I had hours of practice. How many hours I practiced stuff? How many hours I worked on stuff? This is why. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm keeping track of it because I know the math. Like, life is just math. It's way simpler than you guys think. We talked about it before. Like, lack of confidence can keep you from coming up. If you don't like yourself, lack of confidence can keep you from actually making moves. But overconfidence can take you down. I've seen overconfidence take a lot of people down. Because what happens is you start accomplishing things and you stop doing what got you there. And what happens is you start believing that you're the man, that you can do no wrong. And then, you start fucking around, fucking up and doing a bunch of fuck shit, and people fall off, right? They start believing that they're better than they are. But for me, I just believe in the process. I don't really believe that I'm like that great. I don't believe I'm better than you. I just believe you just don't know how to be as dope as me yet. And that's why I make these videos. But I believe in the process. I'm only where I'm at because I track the inputs. I plan out every day in my calendar. I'm disciplined. And I know that anybody can do that. Anybody will get some success over a long enough period of time if they do the same things. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I don't believe it's me. I don't get too cocky. But when you see people getting cocky, what happens is that's how you get people like, P. Diddy, man. He didn't start off doing all that wild shit. Man, you win a few Grammys, you build a multi-million-dollar record label, clothing line, alcohol brand, marketing agency, make a few $1 billion. I can see how that might get to someone's head. And then, he probably thought he was so good, he probably thought it was him, and then he starts thinking he can do anything. But for me, I always remember, no, it's the process that helps me achieve things. It's not me. I'm not better than the process. Nobody's better than the process. Nobody is better than the inputs, because when you ignore all the inputs, you start seeing people fall off. I'm not going to name no names, but just think of anybody who rose to great heights. Almost 100% of the time, if those people fall down, they stop doing the things that got them there. Sometimes it's outside forces or black swan events, but for the most part, is they stop doing the things that got them there. So for example, let me give you a story. I grew up poor on the south side of Chicago, right? And we were like super poor, that's why we lived on the south side. You know what it's like. And, my mom didn't even have a car. My dad was struggling and he was working like super hard. So he was working so hard, I barely saw him as a kid, even though we lived in the same house when I was a real little kid. He was just gone so much. He was working on building his business, even though we were struggling. Mom didn't have a car. She would wake me up at 5 a.m. and walk me to preschool in the snow, right? Because we didn't have a car. She had to go take the bus to work after she dropped me off. And these are my memories, right? And then, I grew up in Chicago public school system and I got in a lot of trouble and I got sent away to military school. And by the time when I went to military school, maybe like a year or two after, like mid high school, my dad's business started taking off and he started making money. But this, remind you, this is like fucking 16 years of work, right? 16 years of putting in effort. So much effort did he barely saw his son when he was a child, right? Remember, it finally started taking off. This is pre-internet. And he started making a ton of money, bro. I grew up poor. By the time I graduated high school, my dad was making $3 million a year. Adjusted for inflation, that'd be $8 million in today's money. It was like a hockey stick. It was almost nothing for fucking 16 years and then boom, blast off. So I'm in college. I didn't experience any of the wealth because I was away at military school. So I didn't really experience what it was like to be rich, but I knew he did it and I thought it was super dope. My dad really gets into gambling. He starts indulging, right? In the fruits of his labor. He starts, indulging in vices, gambling, staying out late, doing a bunch of, stuff that he wasn't doing before on the way up there, right? By the time I graduated from high school, he had lost all the money. It's like I missed it. Like we were rich for a minute and I missed it because I was in military school out of college. By the time I graduated college, he was broke again. He lost all the money and then he blew his brains out, shot himself in the head. What happened? He stopped doing the things that got him there, right? He started indulging in the fruits of his labor and he indulged too much, right? And that's a cautionary tale. And I would imagine when you see these guys reach big heights and then they fall off, I think it's a lot of the same shit, man. A lot of the same shit. People start indulging, right? Nobody's better than the process. And that brings me to my next and final tip. You don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the reward. Anything you're trying to accomplish, don't do it just for the reward. Because if you only do it for the reward, you'll stop once you get the reward. I've been a trainer for over 25 years. I've seen people get in shape and then stop doing what they did to get in shape. And then they get fat again. They couldn't live with their failure. Where'd that lead them? Right back to me. And I got to train them again, man. I got to help this motherfucker get back in shape. And we do the charade over and over again because they're only doing it for the reward. Yeah, you want the rewards. You want the money. I'm a big fan of currency. I really like the acquisition of currency. I like that I can exchange it for goods and services. It's dope. However, it's not about the money. It's about what kind of man I can be, right? It's about building myself up. How would you think about this? I'm a multi-millionaire, million Instagram followers, million YouTube subscribers, about 500,000 TikTok followers, multi-millionaire, 6'2", single-digit body fat, living in downtown Miami. If you were in that position, would you go to sleep at 9:30 at night like I am, to wake up at 4:30 and work all day? Because you want the goals, you want the accolades, you want the girls, or you want the cars or the vices and stuff. That stuff is cool. I want to be the best version of myself. I'm trying to see how proud I can make myself. I'm trying to see what kind of man I've become. And then the money, the results and all that stuff is just a result. It's just a byproduct. You get what I'm saying? Because if you make it more about who you can become and seeing how fucking badass you be, how tough you can be, then that journey never ends. Now you're playing an infinite game, which is better. Because sometimes people are like, man, when's it gonna be enough? When is it gonna be enough? There is no enough. There is no end game. I'll never be as good as I want to be, right? I want to be the best I can be. I don't know what that is yet. When is enough money? It's not about money. So the game of success is not Mario where there's an end game. You beat the boss and then you fucking retire. No. The game is Minecraft. You want to keep building your world and keep making it better. And if you think about it like that, then you'll never fall off and your world will keep getting better. And then one day people will look back, at you and be like, damn, man, my grandfather really fucking set us up for generational wealth. You get what I'm saying? I have another video that will help you adopt this mindset more. Go watch that video right now.